February 6, 2018. I'm Emma DeMeo.
And I'm Jennifer Evans. Coming up next, hear from 3 local Greensboro civil rights activists.
And later, local reaction to the State of the Union address. Did you know that the Piedmont Triad Airport is having its name changed? That's right, on December 20th, the Piedmont Triad Airport Authority announced the new name.
The airport will be renamed the Central North Carolina International Airport, effective on January 1st, 2018. But a major uproar from the community stopped that from happening.
Local residents staged a mini revolt, writing letters to the airport staff and signing nearly 6,000 names to the anti-name change petition posted on change.org.
Because of the outcry from the local community, name change has been postponed. Piedmont Triad Airport Authority announced that they are now taking suggestions from the local community. History was celebrated this past Friday when 3 civil rights activists took center stage.
A standing room only crowd filled the auditorium as they spoke. Members of the group started the civil rights movement that included such famous people as Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King.
Their message from back then hasn't changed much today. Triad News 360 reporter Sydney Goldberg joined the crowd that was eager to hear those who started the civil rights movement had to say.
You know that movements are not built by the masses. Okay, 4 people build a movement.
Mr. Joseph McNeil, Mr. Charles Best, Mr. Lewis Brandon, and Miss Yvonne Johnson shared their experience of their part during the civil rights movement 50 years ago, where they took a seat in order to take a stand. It was a packed house filled with college students from UNC Greensboro and Guilford County Middle College. Students were invited to a face-to-face encounter with participants from Woolworth's Lunch Counter Sit-In.
It was a peaceful demonstration. Even the police walked by, goes over and stands in the corner. The police didn't say one word.
The current mayor of Greensboro, 75-year-old Yvonne Johnson, planned and attended marches throughout the civil rights movement.
I was a participant in the civil rights movement.
I have a dream.
Went to the March on Washington and heard Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech in 1963.
These brave men and women who changed the course of history will never be forgotten and are continuing to inspire others to remain persistent in the fight today.
Black History Month celebrations don't stop there. Throughout the country and on college campuses, events will take place to honor African American heritage.
So much respect for those who fought during the civil rights movement and sacrificed so much for equality. Virtual reality is now not just a cool game for kids. Schools across the country are now trying to incorporate virtual reality technology to take their students on field trips that they can never imagine, like going to the deep blue of the Great Barrier Reef, to the outskirts of space, or even through the bloodstream of a human being. In fact, at the North Carolina School of the Arts are being sponsored by Google Expeditions with new virtual reality technology to get an upper hand in filmmaking.
The State of the Union address was on January 30th, 2018. President Trump delivered his first State of the Union address, followed by Representative Joseph Kennedy III's response for the Democrats. Over 45 million people tuned in to watch the State of the Union address, which happens to be the 4th most watched State of the Union address in history. But when it comes to college students, are they tuning in?
Triad News 360 went to streets to find out why or why not people watched.
Did you watch the State of the Union address? Yeah, I watched the State of the Union address. In my opinion, Trump didn't really talk about the good things that are going to come forward in this new year. It was just mostly filled with him saying a bunch of stuff, and after every sentence, people would stand up and applaud, or the other side of the room wouldn't like any of it.
Like younger than us? No, like our generation. Well, if tweeting makes the president, then sign me up, because that's all that means, that because he tweets, he's a good president. Listen, he's an idiot. I don't like him. I'm sorry. And if that's what our generation, my generation, likes, then I am not living in this country.
State of the Union speeches have historically not been very popular on TV.
But even with all the emotional issues coming out of Washington, the public still didn't get to pay a great deal of attention. It's interesting to know what college students think of all this.
Have you ever heard of the Gem Show? If not, it's a local shop in Greensboro where people go and see or sell or purchase jewelry. This establishment helps elder ornaments find happy new homes.
Our Triad News 360 reporter Maximilian Thomas has more on the story.
Black and white pearl earrings from Margarita Island, an opal and gold locket from the late Victorian era.
Oh, they're just all so beautiful. I'm always fascinated by the estate jewelry.
Gold, emerald, and sapphires are all known as estate jewelry. Estate jewelry is any piece of jewelry that was previously owned. The item's age can range from 1 to 100 years and each piece carries its own history.
The Victorians were very interested in the hair jewelry. They would take hair and braid it, and they would make actually pictures, shadow boxes of flowers, all made out of human hair. It was a very Victorian thing to do. And to keep a memento of someone who was near and dear to them, they would often put it in a locket to be worn on their person. We're still sentimental today.
Replacements Limited is right off the highway near Greensboro, North Carolina. And inside lies a treasure trove of crystals, collectibles, antiques, and jewels. As of February 3rd, 2018, Replacements held its grand opening of the estate jewelry collection. Due to the age range of the jewels, the collection is vast, and there are pretty much something to suit almost any taste.
Going to be purchasing a pair of earrings, and I'm looking for a special ring, but I haven't found one that I really want. So.
Yes, true gems come in all shapes and sizes. This estate collection shows that no matter how old a gem may be, it can still have a gleaming future. This is Maximilian Thomas, Triad News 360, reporting.
It's always fun to be with people with similar interests. What a great event for people who love jewelry.
Thank you, Max. During this time of year, some ladies are already stressing over their upcoming wedding.
A bridal show in Greensboro has helped provide some stress relief for those anxious brides.
The Blandwood Carriage House Bridal Show is a great place for brides to find vendors and locations for their weddings.
The historic Blandwood Carriage House is a wedding venue itself.
Jewelry, wedding dresses, photographers,
wedding dress companies, floral arrangers, caterers, and more were there to help the bride-to-be with nerves running high. Bridal shows are a great place to find the help you need. Coming up next on Triad News 360, more on the Super Bowl game.
And find out why some folks are upset with some local hospitals. We'll be right back.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
How am I going to pay for this?
Littering is a problem that is slowly destroying our Earth, one piece of trash at a time. $11.5 billion is spent each year cleaning up litter among the United States. Cigarette butts account for 50% of all litter in America. Be responsible with your trash. Wait till you're near a park or gas station to safely throw away your trash in a trash can. We only get one planet. Stop the littering.
Hello and welcome to Triad News 360. I'm Emma DeMeo.
And I'm Jennifer Evans.
Do you hate waiting in traffic? It's even worse when construction on the road is up ahead. The I-85 construction project is taking place between exits 55 and 68 on I-85 north and south in Cabarrus and Rowan County of North Carolina. The project funding was approved on January 6, 2006, and environmental document approved on December 30th, 2013.
Construction from exit 55 to exit 63, just north of Moose Road in Rowan County, started spring of 2015 and is currently under construction. Construction starts north of Moose Street and ends north of Old US 29. I-85 connector in Rowan County started fall in 2016 and is currently under construction.
The project entails widening I-85 from 4 lanes to 8 and tearing down and rebuilding overpasses to accommodate population growth. According to the NCDOT, the $297 million project is expected to be done sometime in November of 2019.
The outbreak of the flu has left people waiting for hours in the ER, patients bedridden for weeks, and even children without their mother.
After being diagnosed with the flu, Amanda Franks, a New Hampshire mother of 4, died from complications due to refusal to take Tamiflu, a medication used to cure the flu virus.
Frank's doctor said Tamiflu is worse than the actual virus, after notifying her of the potential side effects, such as headaches, dizziness, vomiting, and nausea.
In attempts to fight the virus on her own, Franks died 3 days after her diagnosis.
Hospitals are very busy right now as the flu hospitalization rate for the 2018 season has been the highest in years. It has just surpassed that of the lethal 2014 to 2015 season, during which 710,000 Americans were hospitalized and 56,000 died.
And the flu bug has hit hospital emergency rooms hard as well. More people seeking help and longer waits to see the doctor.
Triad News 360 reporter Sydney Goldberg has a story of some people who were upset with the long wait. More on the story?
It was just a normal day for Dot McAndrews until the night turned into a complete disaster after slicing her finger.
I had to go to the High Point Regional Hospital for stitches because you could see the bone in my finger.
Little did she know she'd end up having to wait 4 hours in the waiting room and an extra 2 to get stitched up.
The lack of medical staff the night that I was in High Point Regional was probably the reason I had to wait so long, and I think that's completely unacceptable.
The HR director, Becky Kreitz, responded, "Just as an FYI, the emergency room can be very busy, and patients waiting to be seen don't always know how many emergencies are being brought in via EMS through the back." However, Dot McAndrews isn't the only person with these type of complaints.
We went to the hospital at like 9 at night and we were there till 3 in the morning. We didn't get any results. There was no one there helping us. We were just sitting in a room. And I think honestly, if they had more people working there, then like we would have gotten in and out of there and probably would have gotten actual answers to our problem.
The High Point Regional HR Director, Becky Kreitz, continued in responding, "I can assure you we are not understaffed. We are simply a very busy hospital."
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, reported average emergency department wait times to be about 30 minutes and treatment times are about 90 minutes.
For someone not feeling well, those waits can be very frustrating. Did you watch the Super Bowl this weekend? If so, were you one of the 115 million people to tune into this event? However, when one of the most watched events in history goes dark for nearly 30 seconds, people notice. That was proven at Super Bowl this past Sunday when NBC's coverage briefly cut to a black screen and dead air, much to the confusion of those watching.
Early in the game, when the screen went black, it returned to NFL commentators Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth with no mention of the mishap. This left many fans to wonder if it was a glitch happening with their own televisions. NBC soon after the game stated that they had a brief equipment failure that they quickly resolved. No game action or commercial times were missed. Even with a 30-second blackout, NBC managed to recover.
The first Super Bowl was held on January 15, 1967. 52 years later, the fandom has only grown in popularity. The Super Bowl was very heated this past Sunday, with Eagles winning against the Patriots with a score of 41-33.
Although ratings for these past Super Bowls are slightly down from past years, most people in Eastern Pennsylvania really don't care.
Fans clad in green and white yelled and screamed at TVs as their Eagles hung tough with the Patriots.
The Eagles have come close to a couple of times of winning to their first Super Bowl, but with a backup quarterback, they're the underdogs once again.
But the Eagle fans were not allowed to stop them from cheering the green and white.
They even changed their Christmas decorations to eagle decorations outside of their homes.
After the clock ran out and the Eagles won their first Super Bowl, Eagle fans rushed out to stores to stand in line in the freezing cold to buy their winning Super Bowl gear that they will cherish for years to come.
A Super Bowl party in New England, clam chowder, number 12 jerseys, as far as the eye can see. What's on the line? Just a 6th Super Bowl championship for Belichick, Brady, and the Patriots. As the game goes on and the Patriots still trail, Pats fans aren't worried they've seen this movie before. Do they need to remind you the 28-3?
Brady has 5 Super Bowl winning drives, so when he gets the ball back with 2 minutes and 21 seconds left in the fourth, Pats fans aren't nervous. They're ready to celebrate. A strip sack sends the party home upset. Their 6th ring becomes Philly's first, but the Pats have the rings to prove that they're always next year.
The Super Bowl held 9 out of 10 sports of the most watched TV broadcast of all time in the U.S. game. The game was intense this past weekend. Triad News 360 hopes everyone had a ball when watching it.
Coming up next on Triad 360 News, Reese Belcher joins us with all the HPU sports.
We'll be right back.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes, but with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry.
for bacon. I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Hello and welcome to Triad News 360. I'm Emma DeMeo.
And I'm Jennifer Evans. Joining us now is Triad News 360 sports reporter Reese Belcher with all the Panther sports news. Reese?
Thank you, Jennifer. The High Point University men's basketball team defeated Campbell University 67-56 with a big second half on Saturday. Jahad Proctor led the Panthers with 20 points, followed by Andre Fox, who recorded the first double-double of his career with 14 points and 10 rebounds. HPU's overall record is now 11-12 and 6-6 in Big South Conference play. Up next, the Panthers travel to Radford on Wednesday to take on the Highlanders at 7 p.m. High Point University women's basketball team dropped its second in a row, losing to Campbell 51-44 Saturday in the Mills Center. The Panthers held the lead after 3 quarters, but Campbell outscored High Point by 10 points in the fourth quarter to secure the victory. Emma Bockrath led the Panthers with 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists, playing all 40 minutes. The women's team is back in action at Longwood University tonight at 7 p.m. The High Point University men's lacrosse team kicks off their season Thursday night in Durham against the Duke Blue Devils at 7 p.m. Head coach John Torpy and the Panthers look to bounce back from a 4-10 record last season. The Blue Devils are ranked #1 in men's lacrosse by the NCAA. After the Blue Devils, the Panthers travel to Washington, D.C. to take on Georgetown before next Tuesday returning to Vert Stadium for the home opener against the defending national champion Maryland. The High Point University women's lacrosse team will start off its season Saturday at Vert Stadium versus Furman. The Panthers finished last season with a 16-4 overall record, including a 7-0 record in conference play, that led them to a Big South Conference championship. Looking ahead, the Panthers will play the 3rd-ranked UNC Tar Heels the following Saturday at Vert Stadium. That's all for right now in sports. Emma, Jennifer?
Thanks, Reese, for sports. Well, thank you for joining us here at Triad News 360. I'm Emma DeMeo.
And I'm Jennifer Evans. Good night, High Point.